was a weak crack, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is Dead End Boys, episode 7.
We out here hustling.
Almost 2 months of doing this, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we find a way to keep it going.
Find a way to get it done. That's what the Dead End Boys is about.
Facts.
Dead facts. Some stuff happened in the NFL this week. It's not gonna be a long one.
Not gonna be an eventful one.
Definitely not that eventful. With the
Lamar Jackson situation.
Let's say Lamar Jackson and Ezekiel Elliott probably the most eventful parts, but there was some minor stuff going on, and this is just a overall view. I obviously am not covering, punters getting signed or long snappers getting signed.
Yeah, who cares?
The punters and long snappers do. But
they can care all they want, but not a single NFL fan.
In terms of what's the juicy news, we'll get right into it. But actually, before we get right into it, shout out to the YouTube channel, the Dead End Boys. Always going to throw that out there. The YouTube's doing all right now. We're making moves, making plays. Shout out to the Twitter at the Dead End Boys, making some moves on there on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, like the video, favorite it, comment. Please comment. We want to get some engagement on Twitter. Do the same thing.
Let us know what you think, and at the end of the day, if you guys start asking questions on the YouTube channel, we'll answer your questions live on the podcast.
We got to put polls out there.
Yeah.
That was suggested earlier. I don't know if it was you or Kevin, but
I think it was Kev.
But shout out Kevin. Shout out everybody who's watching. And
all the ears that be on, all the engagement that we get out of these YouTube videos. It's like thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
For real. But yeah, shout out to those channels. I'm refusing this shout out Twitch. We have not done a thing with that. Shout out to Apple Podcasts, the Dead End Boys.
Yeah,
follow on there and give a gander if you want to. I've already pitched it out to some people, and they've actually gone on Apple Podcasts and listened to it and followed it. So please do. And again, leave us comments. Honestly, anywhere. Rate it on Apple Podcasts. Again, on YouTube, comment. Or on Twitter, tweet at us.
We'll any engagement, we're gonna interact with that engagement. So if you guys ask questions or you guys pose problems with what we said, we're gonna engage with that. So please do.
For real. And with that said, let's get into it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So Tony Pollard officially signed his franchise tag. So he's locked in for the $10 million or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's locked in. I think that was kind of more like a water's wet situation. Yeah, it was going to happen.
Especially when they let Dalton Schultz
and
walk.
Zeke go.
You knew that Tony Pollard was going to end up signing that, especially after the injury.
Yeah, especially after the injury. You got to take your money now.
He's taking his money now.
Probably the most money he'll probably ever make in a singular year.
Unless he comes back stronger than ever.
1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns, but
100%.
Other than that, I mean,
I think he's capable of that. It's just barring the injury, low ankle, a low
play
leg.
Calling too.
He's a guy.
The fact that he can catch the ball, and tear you up that way.
It makes it dynamic because it's you never know what you're getting. Tony Pollard's in the backfield, and as the defense, you're looking at it maybe he's going out on a little flat route. Maybe he's doing this. Maybe he's doing that.
Dude, he dogged in fantasy from a receiving wise. Drafting him was the best move ever.
I was in a fantasy football league where somebody accidentally drafted him in the first round, and I drafted Najee Harris right after he was drafted. He was better than Najee Harris in fantasy.
Yeah, Najee Harris was a letdown. Tony Pollard as a receiver he gets
dynamic.
It's and listen, as an Eagles fan, I hate the Cowboys, but shout out Tony Pollard. Hope you come back healthy.
Yeah.
This might be the most money he ever makes in his career for a singular season, because obviously running backs are devalued, but it's a situation where water is wet. We kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
They brought in Ronald Jones, who, admittedly, I'm a Ronald Jones fan. I'm sick that he goes to the Cowboys, but let's be real. If you're picking Ronald Jones or Tony Pollard,
the guy.
Like, Tony Pollard is the guy.
Yeah.
Now, that brings me to the topic of Ezekiel Elliott. So,
I know you was an Eagles fan.
I'm gonna tie this all in together.
He picked his top 3.
So a report came out. He picked his top 3 teams: the Bengals, the Jets, the fucking Eagles. Out of left field, I saw this and I was like, "What the flying fuck is this?" Because, like, first of all, as a Cowboy running back for how long? You decide to say, "Yeah, Eagles are one of the teams I want to go for." That's fire because you're slapping the fucking Cowboys in the face, and I respect the hell out of you. But two, it's like, okay, as an Eagles fan, how do I perceive this? I have shit talked him for how many years, especially in the past 3 years. How often have I said he's washed?
Yeah.
Now, if I take that all out of the perspective, honestly, Ezekiel Elliott on a granted 1 year cheap deal, maybe vet minimum, incentive laced, you're on your last legs here. I would be all for that.
He's a short-yarded back there.
Dude, imagine him in the red zone. He had 11 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
He came in, played that LeGarrette Blount role from our Super Bowl year back in 2017. I think he would be the perfect fit.
As a Giants fan, as the devil's advocate here, how much better than Boston Scott do you think he really is in that short yardage situation?
I'm not. So I'll throw the coin
Boston Scott's a bowling ball.
I will say that, and so is Kenneth Gainwell. But I'll throw another point. That means they can go out. You can use Kenneth Gainwell in the slot. You can throw him out as an extra receiver. Yeah. Boston Scott, you could run out on the flat. You know what I mean? Like, I think in a specific role, if Ezekiel Elliott were to take it, and I don't think he would. Like, come on. No. Like, that would be very specific.
He wants his money.
He would have to be saying, I know my career's on the last legs. I'm trying to win a ring.
Also, just trying to contribute to a team.
Yeah. Like, it would have to be very specific. But if he were to want to, if the Eagles were actually interested, but I like Trey Sermon.
I like Trey Sermon.
I do like Trey Sermon.
I'm a big fan.
But I
liked him at the 49ers.
I love the pickup from us. But if we were to bring Zeke in on a cheap deal, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be for it. As much as I've debated this in my head every single day since that came out, and I've gone back and forth the pros and cons. And honestly, if he came in on the right deal and was a short yardage back, yeah, we can clown him all he wants, but he can get the yard. Like that's what you need. And I'll say this point before you say anything, it protects Jalen Hurts. Less you have to use him in those situations.
What did I text you when you sent me the Zeke's top 3 involves the Eagles? I said running back by committee though. Like,
yeah,
he's a guy that you can throw out there and he can make whatever he needs to make happen. Like, do I think he's only a short yardage back? No. I think he has still a little bit of burst in them legs.
Whatever outside of the short yardage you need is a plus.
Yeah.
It's an extra benefit. But to me, I think as long as he was willing to accept where he is in his career, and I'm sure he doesn't think that he's, a running back. I think he still thinks he could be a number one on a team that needs a number one. Yeah, and like honestly, he probably can be. He might not be efficient, but he'll definitely get his yards. But
that's what Miles Sanders walked. He walks up and goes, "I could probably be the number one on this team." Do I think he truly can beat out Kenneth Gainwell? No, I don't.
Yeah, after the playoffs, man, Kenneth Gainwell has he's become like he's one of those points that I write down going into next year saying players to watch. Kenneth Gainwell. And I have a Miles Sanders jersey right over there.
Yeah.
Trust me, but
you might well switch that to Carolina because
I know, but
I'm afraid about that whole situation. But we're not even going to touch on that because that's not one of the
Carolina.
Points. The Carolina's offense and what they're trying
actually
to create.
We do have a small touch point on Carolina.
Do we do? Okay.
We do, but let's just get into it. Why not? while we're on the topic, it's Carolina. They signed DJ Chark.
Okay, yeah. They're bonifying their wide receiver core for whatever
for whoever
rookie,
they do at quarterback.
Rookie
And
quarterback
honestly,
they're
like Carolina's they might be a playoff fringe team next year. They're not going to be much, but they're definitely giving their quarterback a chance to succeed. It's not like a typical situation like a Zach Wilson,
Yeah.
who had nothing in year one. I'm not saying last year because Garrett Wilson, obviously, but he had nothing in year one. Or like, I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole. Davis Mills, I know he wasn't projected to be a superstar, but he had nothing in Houston besides Brandon Cooks. And and Damian Pearson, he made the most out of it.
No, I just think whatever quarterback they bring in he's gonna be slinging punches just to be decent, and then I think the more they put him in, the more he's gonna be looked at as like, oh, this kid can't do shit. This kid is this. This kid is that.
Well, if Miles Sanders definitely comes up with his injury problems. Because he was healthy last year, but he's always has an injury. Yeah. If he comes up with that, he's relatively healthy last year. If he comes up with his injuries, I mean, then you're really making the kid.
He could be a solid back.
Chuba Hubbard is he gonna be a number one?
No.
I love him, but I have an affection for him, but
then it's like Adam Thielen, DJ Chark. You're like, we have weapons on the outside. It's like, can we really compete? You said playoff fringe team. I don't see them as that. Even in the NFC.
I think their defense is still pretty solid.
Their defense is solid, but I think even in the NFC,
who are they competing with in their division?
They got binoculars looking into the NFC. Even in the playoff race. You know that the 3 teams are coming out of the NFC East.
At least.
The 2 wildcard positions are dead set. It's going to be the Eagles coming out of the NFC East, probably. It's going to be Dallas and the Giants coming out of the wildcard spot. So, at the end of the day, you got to compete for the lead in the division. And I think Atlanta has that in their division. The AFC South, I think it is. I think Atlanta has that.
That's a division that's so wide open.
It is though.
Like that's where I think Carolina can sneak in. I mean, it's all dependent on what the Derek Carr does out in New Orleans.
But you assume Derek Carr is going to lead them right into the playoffs and then take his first round loss and walk away.
You mean 8 wins and miss the playoffs? That's what I'm saying.
That's what you think with Derek Carr?
We trade back. They move up to the number 10 pick. And they give us next year's first round.
That's what you think?
Nah, that's not what I realistically think. But
realistically, I think he's gonna lead. Derek Carr's gonna lead the Saints to the playoffs.
I don't think Dennis Allen is a good coach. Derek Carr to me has to thrive in the right system. Yeah, he's competent. He can win you 8 games, but 9 and 10 are gonna be up in the air. He couldn't do it with what he had out there. And I don't like Josh McDaniels by any stretch, but he couldn't do it out there with. They literally went out and got Devontae Adams for him, and Josh Jacobs had a career year. And they couldn't. They still couldn't do it.
Still couldn't figure it out.
That game, that Kyler Murray, what was it? Overtime, ran just around and around and around and around and around, and then threw the touchdown. That's the dumbest thing I've ever
It's play calling at the end of the day.
I mean, the Raiders may have been a little snake bitten last year. I don't watch their games. I've only seen games like that with the Kyler Murray incident and all that. But
it's like with the Kyler Murray incident, how could the pass rush not get home? When you really look at it,
and they have
you have Max Crosby, you have these guys
defense.
How can you not get home enough on Kyler Murray to not let him do that?
Yeah, and
it's got to be play calling.
But at the same time, Derek Carr to me is just, he's just not I don't look at him He's good enough. I don't look at him as a Super Bowl quarterback. If I'm building a franchise, he's not the first quarterback. I look at probably 10 other quarterbacks before I look at him.
That's all I was about to say. He's not a top 10 quarterback. If I'm starting a franchise, I pick 10 quarterbacks over him.
Easily.
And I put him in the 15 range. He's bottom tier for leading you to a playoff team.
Yeah.
And I said that
Fringe
before.
playoff team.
I said that before on the podcast.
Wild card team.
I said, like, he's just not gonna. He's gonna lead you to, like, average ass seasons. Maybe you make the playoffs, maybe you don't. But he's not gonna be anything special. He's not gonna be that X factor to lead you to the playoffs. He's not gonna be anything special.
Like, don't get me wrong. Does New Orleans have, like, good weapons?
Yeah.
Especially if Alvin Kamara isn't suspended or anything, which there's no news on that front. Michael Thomas, if he decides to play.
Yeah.
Chris Olave, though.
Yeah,
like,
Olave.
They do have weapons. Like, don't get me wrong.
But think Olave, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, as long as he's not suspended. Which I think...
Shout out Miller Lite. Shout out Bud Light and Limes, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Dead facts. But, like, even if Alvin Kamara plays, I don't see that team being anything over a 9-8 team.
No, I mean,
I don't see them.
I think there's a huge gap between what the Sean Payton Saints were and the Dennis Allen Saints were, and I don't think
he's there.
No,
like it's pretty evident.
I know Saints fans listening are gonna say, "Well, we beat the fucking Eagles." Blah blah blah. Well, fuck you. Who went to the Super Bowl? Shut the fuck up. I'm just kidding.
Thank you for beating the Eagles.
But no, I'm sure any realistic Saints fan might probably echo the same sentiment. Like, it's no matter who, it's just a whole different team compared to the Drew Brees and Sean Payton led team. And
it is.
Derek Carr is great.
They're in a rebuild, but they refuse to accept that they're in a rebuild.
To me, Derek Carr is truly like a quarterback that is absolutely boom or bust. He's either going to throw for 5,000 yards, or he's going to throw for 20 touchdowns and 14 picks and 4,000 yards and just being just mediocre as hell.
And what I see it as is him throwing for that 14 picks and then looking at the end of the year like, oh, we got to rebuild, but we got this Derek Carr contract. We know we got to play Chris Olave soon. We know Michael Thomas is essentially gone. Maybe he'll try to go win a Super Bowl with some other team, but, like, they're in a rebuild, and they refuse to accept this year that they're in a rebuild.
No lie, I would agree that after Drew Brees retiring, that's when they should have torn it down. And then Sean Payton
just ripped the wheels off and just go,
and
no,
they're holding on to something that's not there.
They're trying to play for the fans, and it's like, you have 2 years where, yeah, you're going to be bad. But, like, you can rebuild that franchise. That franchise isn't that bad.
First round picks.
But it's also, like, that defense is not bad.
No,
like,
they have good pieces on defense.
They have solid pieces. So, like, that's your building blocks. You build the offense up. Derek Carr is not going to be that guy to win you games. He's just not. And I'm sorry, Saints fans may disagree with me. He's not going to be that guy to win you games with Olave and Michael Thomas. But why not just start the rebuild now? You're delaying it 1 year where Derek Carr has a blow-up year and you go, 6-11.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, fuck Derek Carr, we're going to rebuild now. It's like, why didn't you just do it last year? Why sign Derek Carr? Why not just start the rebuild last year? It's a 2-year rebuild, and then you could be in the playoff hunt. Truly, I think if you get a solid quarterback and probably a solid wide receiver, tight end's a questionable spot for the Saints. I'll give them that. But you get a solid wide receiver behind Garrett Wilson, right? Or Chris Olave. Sorry. My fault. But behind Chris Olave, you get a solid receiver. You could be a solid team even with a 5th-round rookie quarterback. You'd be all right.
Yeah.
You're not going to make the playoffs, but you're going to be just off, and you'll take another year to regroup, do your thing. 2 years, and you're back in it. You're in that playoff hunt. Why sign Derek Carr on such a big deal when you know he's not going to give you anything better than a wild card exit?
Yeah.
That's all he is. Derek Carr is a wild card exit quarterback. That is it. He's not as good as a Daniel Jones, as a honestly, I put him on par with Taylor Heineke. I think if you sign a Taylor Heineke like the Falcons did,
he could do just as much,
and you're paying him way less.
I agree, and funny enough, I actually had Atlanta on this, that they're going to go with Desmond Ridder as their starter. Which, honestly, if he flops out, Taylor Heineke can step in.
Yeah.
They have to give Desmond Ritter this shot.
You have
they,
to.
They used the first-round pick.
Yeah.
They used the first-round pick.
You first-round drafted him. You got to let the kid cook. And see
you
what
he
really can do.
Anything, and if not, then you go next year and draft. But they are announcing that he's going to be the guy to start. But to go on your Taylor Heineke point, if he doesn't end up working out in the first couple games, they go to him. Taylor Heineke's proven to obviously win. He literally put Washington on his back before they fucked around and went back to Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
that
was dumb. Then going back to Carson Wentz. I think Taylor Heineke was.
I think it was all upper management driven because they traded for him. They don't want to look stupid and all that. But
they know Taylor Heineke was the man.
The second he came in was the second that they started.
I'm shocked they didn't try to keep him.
I'm shocked he didn't try to keep him. But they're so committed to Sam Howell, which we'll see. I don't know if Sam Howell's really got it. The draft year going into it, he was a first-round quarterback. And then by the end of the year, he wasn't. So, I mean, we'll see.
I put my hands up when it comes to Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell's a joke. But prove me wrong, bro. Go out there.
Daniel Jones. I equate him to... Now, hear me out before you say anything. Mm-hmm. I equate Sam Howell to what Daniel Jones is.
Daniel Jones is a way better quarterback.
But Daniel Jones year 1 and 2 was not.
He struggled. But what did he do?
But Sam Howell will also probably struggle.
I will say...
But he can develop into that quarterback. That's
Daniel
what I'm trying
Jones,
to say.
I get what you're saying. Daniel Jones developed into the quarterback that turns the ball over very little. And he's going to go out there and win you games.
If he does it again next year, then I'll back that statement.
Daboll said it, and it's like, he cut down the turnovers, but he has to develop into this guy. And who was it? I can't remember the name. But somebody's Anthony Walker or something like that said Daniel Jones is poised, and the way he's playing in the offseason, way he's throwing, he's poised for an MVP type season. And I truly believe that Daniel Jones can get to that level. He can throw for 38 touchdowns.
Admittedly,
and
you guys upgraded your wide receiver core, but
hella. Do I think the guys on the bottom end of the roster are gonna get cut? Yeah. But you got Paris Campbell, you have Isaiah Hodgins, you have Sterling Shepard, you have Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe an Odell. That's still a questionable spot. But
that's next on the list.
My whole thing is if you bring Odell in to that wide receiver room, I think that wide receiver room is solid. It's enough to get Daniel Jones to properly commit and properly do what he has to do. If he gets an Odell with Paris Campbell and Isaiah Hodgins and Wan'Dale Robinson and he doesn't perform, now you got to start looking at maybe we dump this contract. Maybe we look for somebody else.
What happens if he turns back to the old Daniel Jones, though?
We draft a quarterback next year.
But what if you guys win 9 games still? But he turns over the ball more, and
we draft a wide receiver next year. I mean, a quarterback next year.
You're gonna move up. You're gonna trade assets to move up.
Yep.
You're gonna sell out for a quarterback.
Yep.
Admittedly, next year is apparently the generational quarterback draft.
Yeah. We trade up for it. I think at that point Saquon Barkley's gone. He's gonna walk and try to go to a Buffalo or somewhere where he can comfortably try to chase a ring. And I get that. Saquon Barkley, my son had a jersey. I still have a jersey. I love you to the end of the day, but if you gotta walk, you gotta walk, man. At the end of the day, you're not going to get $16 million. You're not going to get Christian McCaffrey money. Did Christian McCaffrey deserve that money? Questionable.
I don't think so, just because he's old.
Personally.
Hurt.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but
I don't think he even deserved that money. So
got it.
you thinking you could get that money is
wild.
Is a stretch beyond belief.
Nah, admittedly, it's probably not a stretch because if he backs his play up another year, then yeah, he probably is gonna get that money.
If he comes out next year and plays for the Giants, which that's even me and you have had that argument. That's a question mark.
If he sits out because of the tag.
If he tries to sit out because of the tag,
but
if he comes
out,
out,
he's officially signed the tag.
I don't think he has. No.
So I mean, like that's something that isn't even like touched on because.
If he walks in and signs that tag and plays the year and has another 1,500-yard year, I think the Giants do sign him on some.
Please do.
14 to 16 range.
Please do.
I don't think they quite try to give him 16.
Please give him all the money.
But give him the money.
25 plus.
Let him. Suck a dick. I think they try to give him the money. They try to keep him around, and then they try to draft a quarterback next year. And Daniel Jones will be a trade spot for New Orleans and Atlanta.
From my short knowledge, well, not short because I feel like the Giants were thrown down like local TV throat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's necessarily gonna take a leap because everything I personally watched was safe.
I think he has a talent. I think that's the offense.
Yeah, he can run. Don't get me wrong, but it was safe. There was nothing was like.
I think he has the potential to start throwing the ball down the field, and I've said this since he was a rookie. I think his best thing is medium accuracy. I think he can start pushing the ball down the field with guys like Paris Campbell. Maybe you bring in a Brandon Ayuk, which clearly
they don't want to move him.
They don't want to move him.
He's got another year, so
I doubt he's coming. But like you get a Jordan Addison, you're
gonna like this mock draft, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
When we get into this,
I bet. But like you get a Jordan Addison behind Isaiah Hodgins, a Wan'Dale Robinson, a Paris Campbell.
To me, they're not gonna go wide receiver. It just every move they've made says that they're gonna go another year holding off on wide receiver.
They're doubling down on receiver in free agency. With not the top guys, but with the guys that are like lacking behind the group.
The second tier guys, second and third tier guys, but they're going so heavy on that. Why would they continually bring these people in? And like
they have to have somebody at that draft point that they love.
I mean, I'm looking at
outside the receiver.
I have something pulled up right now, and I'm sure there's like some spots that I can totally see them going for.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. So that's why I can like.
They just signed today. They officially signed Jihad Ward. Just signed the contract to continue as linebacker. I get that.
He's there to me. That's
my whole thing is if they don't go receiver, they need to go corner in this draft. If they don't go corner or receiver, I'm looking at it like, what are you guys doing? Like, Darnay Holmes is our number 2 corner right now. He's not cutting it as number 2 corner. I'm sorry. I like Darnay Holmes. I like him as a third.
At 25, you're going to have to move up.
I disagree. I think corners are going to fall.
I think the second one goes, they're all going to go.
I think the whole thing is if wide receivers fall in early and they start getting taken, Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's our guy right now. Like that's the guy
this mock draft is gonna throw you for a fucking loop. By the way,
well, don't even let me say it right now. But like Jackson Smith and Jigba is the guy I want. As a Giants fan, that's the guy I want. I want him to be leading him, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell with Wan'Dale as a slot. I think that's where we're at. If they don't go receiver and you go like a Joey Porter Jr. or the kid Kelly Ringo at wherever
he could be had in the second round. The Eagles actually met with him as a top 30 visit, and honestly, I'm kind of hyped about it because I
like Kelly Ringo.
I think they can develop him.
I think he could be a dog. But like you either have to go corner or you have to go receiver. Maybe linebacker. Maybe. And that's a fucking big question mark with the Lucas Van Ness out of fucking Iowa, or wherever the fuck he's out of. He's a dog, but like, you
I
have.
think he has bust written all over him. By the way,
Do you think so?
I do.
His size plus his strength and speed is crazy.
Eagles fans might know of a guy named Mike Mamula. He reminds me of him.
But I think
Older Eagles fans.
You go wide receiver or corner, maybe linebacker. If you don't pick one of those three positions at that first round pick, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to turn the draft off. I'm going to click my TV. I'm going to say power off. And I'm going to drink myself to sleep because I just can't accept
You're going to like these mock drafts that I have.
That you have up?
I think you're going to like them because I think, honestly, in an ideal world, this like other people are also preaching this sentiment. But let's keep the ball moving here. Yeah. You mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. Potential landing spots, the Jets. He met with the Ravens, and Andy Reid didn't say anything. He didn't necessarily say no to him for the Chiefs.
If they bring him to the Ravens and they keep Lamar Jackson, right. I like that a fucking lot.
Yeah, why not?
They're finally giving him a bona fide number one receiver. Is he questionable a little bit?
Is he a top 20 number one receiver? No. But is he, for the Ravens, he's probably the best receiver they probably ever had.
Like,
you know.
They walked Lamar Jackson out there and
Maybe
they said,
Steve Smith.
They said, hey, Devin Duvernay and fucking, what's the other kid's name?
Rashad
Bateman. They said, Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman are your number one receivers. What? You're an MVP winning quarterback. That's what you're working with? You bring an Odell to that system, and now you're like, oh, I get that. Like, Rashad Bateman as a 2.
Him to the Ravens makes the most sense to me.
It does.
The Chiefs also make sense to me.
Because they just
but they
let
seem
Juju
so committed to Sky Moore. So
they said Kadarius Toney is their number one going into next year.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I did read though, like they are really
high on
Sky Moore. And Kadarius Toney, I mean, that might just be like talking his guy up.
If you're 1 and 2 going into next year, Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, I'm sorry. As good as Pat Mahomes is, can he really make that a Super Bowl winning roster? I don't think so.
I think so.
But
But Kadarius Toney has to play the whole season.
Yeah, well, he'll never do that.
He
as a Giants fan, he'll never do that.
Roster as Mecole Hardman as his number one, you know. Yeah. So I do think.
I think Mecole Hardman's better.
Tyreek Hill was a nobody when he burst onto the scene. Like
Pat Mahomes is a dog. I'll give him that, but he needs.
You know what I mean? Like
he needs a bottom end number one receiver to just be him.
See,
and be able to do his thing.
To me,
I think if Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney are 2 and 3 behind like an Odell, I think that offense moves the way that offense moves. But I think without Odell, I don't think that offense moves the way they move. Travis Kelce is obviously going to move the chains. Isaiah Pacheco is a running back. I'm high on him because he's a Jersey kid. And I really like the way he played last year.
Shout out Isaiah Pacheco.
Vineland, Jersey.
Your bro played against him, bro.
Yeah, dead ass.
Played with him or against him?
Played with him on all-star teams and shit. But, like, he's a dog. But I just don't think Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney are going to cut you as a receiver. Like, I think you need a bigger body.
To me, like...
Even if they got, like, a guy like... Even like a Rashad Bateman, and you threw them 3 out there, and you go, okay, honestly, well, at least you have a bigger body. You have a guy that can go up and get the ball.
No lie, if they got like a guy like Elijah Moore,
exactly,
I would have been really high on that. But like
even a Corey Davis, he's 6'2".
He's still not cut yet. He's probably gonna get cut.
He's gonna get cut.
Well, if Odell Beckham Jr. goes to the Jets, then
he's getting cut.
He's absolutely gone. But what I was gonna say was, Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill was an Alex Smith product. Like it wasn't just Pat Mahomes that made Tyreek Hill. Like he started out as a punt returner and had all those crazy games where he was returning one every other game. It felt like, so like to me, Pat Mahomes they basically said, now do it without him. And he did. Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
You know,
he won a Super Bowl
Juju
with Mecole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster,
and Kadarius
Toney as his top receivers.
So,
like, that's a fucking joke. Like, I don't think I could win a Madden franchise Super Bowl with those receivers.
if you had the right quarterback, probably.
But, like, no, but Pat Mahomes just shows you that he is that fucking guy. You have to go get him a receiver.
And honest to God, I think they're going to draft some receivers.
They got it.
But I want to keep us moving here because we can talk about...
I apologize. Holding it up.
No need to apologize, bro.
Keep talking.
Listen, we could probably talk for fucking 5 hours about this shit.
Yeah.
But I want to keep it moving just to get to the big nitty-gritty of it. Tom Brady got partial ownership into the Las Vegas Aces. Pretty cool. Yeah. He's not playing. He's not coming back now.
He knows he's not.
He's not coming back now.
He's good.
I'll glance over some free agent signings. Nelson Aguilar to the Ravens, which okay,
I like that. It's something, but it's still not that bona fide number one that you're looking for.
The memes about him.
Yeah, well, Nelson Aguilar.
Marquez Callaway to the Broncos, returning to Sean Payton. I kind of like it, but I'm not high on Russ. So
part of me is like,
and he's not going to get any touches anyway.
Russ is in the sunset of his career.
He is what he is now.
I think at the end of the year he retires.
I don't think he's going to retire. I just think he's just going to be just a low end quarterback.
I truly think at the end of this year he's going to retire.
We're going to see how great of a coach Sean Payton is.
Do they bring? Yeah, exactly. But do they bring Courtland Sutton back? Obviously,
they are. They. I saw something earlier today. They're not willing to trade Courtland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, aka nobody wanted to pay us what we wanted, so we're keeping him.
They said I saw a thing that said Jerry Jeudy's a first or a second round pick, and I was still kind of hoping Jerry Jeudy would come to the Giants.
Nah, it's not gonna.
Because I'm like,
no one wants to get
imagine the Giants draft a receiver. Say they get Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then they have Jared Jeudy as a number 2, Isaiah Hodgins as a number 3, and then you have Wandell, you have Shep.
I think that's wishful thinking.
It 100% is wishful thinking, but I think they could be a solid roster. It would just be so weird
because then they would have to cut everybody they just paid money to.
Paris Campbell would stay, but like that Jeff Smith kid from the Jets,
Shepard,
he would get cut.
Darius Slayton.
I think Slayton would stay. They signed him already. Like he would stay as like a fucking guy in case someone gets hurt.
Back to my original point. I don't think they're gonna move for anybody. I don't think they're gonna draft any. Maybe draft somebody in like second, third, fourth, maybe.
I will say the way they free agent signed wide receivers makes me think that first round
make a splashy move.
They're not. They're like, I'm sorry, they're not gonna make a big free agent move. Maybe if Njigba is there in that first round pick at that 25, 26,
not gonna like
whatever pick they have. But I think if he's there, they're gonna take him.
Addison.
Yeah, if one of those top receivers are there,
if they don't, then they're really targeting a specific.
And
need.
I think it's like, Njigba, Addison, Quentin Johnson, and what's that kid from Boston College? What's his name?
Oh, the Boston
College kid. What the fuck is his name? I can't remember his name. I've been seeing his name constantly. But if one of those 4 guys are there, I think they take him. But if those 4 guys aren't there, I think they go different position. I think they just maybe even trade back. Maybe even get 2 second-round picks and maybe a first-rounder next year by a team that's desperate to go get a guy they want, like a Joey Porter Jr. late in that first round.
I want the cornerback.
But like they'll go trade a team for a second and maybe a first, or a third and maybe a first, and like they'll lay back a little bit if one of those 4 receivers are not there.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. It's like
probably what they should be on.
I think wide receiver, corner, middle linebacker. I think that's your 3 spots. You need to hit that in the first round. No matter what, one of those 3 spots you need to hit.
Yeah. Wow.
And corner is screaming at me as a Giants fan. Like,
imagine they take a running back.
Adoree Jackson
A
and
quarterback.
Darnay.
Imagine they take a quarterback this draft.
If they take a quarterback in the first round, I won't be a Giants fan anymore. I swear on my life.
Could you imagine? I'm just trying to think of the most outlandish picks.
I will be a Panthers fan for all I give a fuck.
They take like a 4th rated interior lineman.
Yeah, I'll fucking hate it. At the end of the day, you're a 3-4 defense. Dexter Lawrence is your guy on the inside. You know for a fact that's it. Your outside linebackers being Azeez Ojulari, which
if he plays,
I'm questionable on him because of his injury history. But then Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side. I'm confident in Kayvon Thibodeau.
And you have Leonard Williams still.
Was I mad about the Kayvon Thibodeau pick? Yes, I was. But that's because I wanted sauce. I wanted sauce.
I
wanted
the
sauce
pick. I was
all
pissed,
day.
dude. I was like, damn, they probably got the top-rated talent.
No, I wanted Sauce. I think Sauce was top-rated talent out of that draft.
See, Sauce
but then
would be
the Jets
more
took him right before
effective,
us.
But Kayvon Thibodeau could also...
Imagine Adoree and Sauce.
But imagine Thibodeau becoming not Micah Parsons, but a little lower than that, which I think he's got that potential to.
When he played this year, he was a fucking monster.
Dude, that game against the Commanders.
Oh, when he strip-sacked Heineke, yeah.
That
was a ball.
Like,
yeah, no.
I wouldn't be mad with Thibodeau
man.
at all.
Thibodeau, I was mad because I wanted Sauce. But then I was like, I said to my TV, I was drinking beers, as I am now. I looked at my TV, and I said, Thibodeau, you better be the real deal because Sauce just went. And what did I get out of this year?
Mostly was.
Thibodeau is the real deal.
He was healthy.
He's a dog. He's fast.
He had a good rookie year. He didn't have to me, he didn't have a great rookie year, but he had a good rookie year.
But he has a lot of pass rush moves. And that's what makes me look forward to next year. It's like, if he's fully healthy and he comes out, he's got moves. Like, he can do what he's got to do off the edge rush. Do I think he can pass cover? No, I don't think he really can. Like, I don't think he's quick enough to be doing what maybe he needs to be doing in that sense. But I think he can be a productive member of that team with Sexy Dexy. I've talked about him on, I think, every single podcast episode. I think Sexy Dexy is that guy. You sign him on a long-term deal, that's your D tackle. He can run that with Azeez and Thibodeau on the outside. I think that's a good 3-4. You have Jalen Smith on the middle. That's questionable. Whether it's a Landon Collins maybe next year, it's a questionable still.
I like how we're pivoting to just Giants talk.
Oh yeah, my fault.
No. I want you to keep going because I feel like I've covered a lot of Eagles compared to your Giants talk. So I'm like happy you're having this. Like you're able to kind of go.
I will say, as I said to you when they did it, the Seahawks signed Julian Love. Thank you, cause hey, you're getting a dog shit safety that can't play the ball for shit. Can he play the run game? Yeah, he's a physical guy, but in the pass game, he's a fucking liability. I think the Giants first, if they don't do it in the first, if they try to get a receiver, they do whatever, in the second round, they need a target corner. Because Darnay Holmes is not your number 2 corner. I like Darnay Holmes a lot.
They gotta do something because you can't go in.
For me, Darnay Holmes
is your 1 and then Darnay Holmes.
For Darnay Holmes is your 3 corner. And I'd be okay with that. I'm not happy with that.
Jackson isn't a number 1. To me, he's a number 2, but he's not a number 1.
I question that. I think he still can be a number 1.
To me, he's a low end number 1, but probably a mid to high tier number 2.
But if you get a solid tier number 2,
to me though,
Adoree 1, him, whoever they draft 2, Darnay at the 3.
Can I say this?
Still got Aaron Robinson hanging around there.
Can I say this? And this might be controversial. I like some of the cornerbacks in this draft: Joey Porter, Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon. But to me, I don't think it's the.
You left out Kelly Ringo.
Well, he won't go in the first round. He's gonna go second round, I think.
If the Giants can get him in the second round, I think that's a baller pick.
But to me, the cornerbacks, no one in this draft speaks to me like previous years.
Yeah.
Like the Pat Surtain.
It doesn't wow.
The J.C. Horns.
It doesn't wow.
Yeah. J.C. Horn, I don't know how well he's played. I know he missed his rookie year. He got hurt in his rookie year, so he missed a lot of that. I don't know how he did in year 2. But, like, you know, like, the talent-wise, I don't, like...
But then, imagine you draft a guy like Jeff Okudah.
Yeah.
Who's what, a top 10 pick?
But that's what I mean. And these cornerbacks...
Injury. And now he's being seen as, like, a low-end 2, a high-end 3.
But that's what this draft speaks to me in cornerback-wise. Like, none of these guys are going to be the Jalen Ramseys, you know?
Nah,
the Darius Slays from an Eagles perspective, you know?
They're not... No cornerback coming out of this draft is going to be a bona fide, but all-pro number 1 corner. Like, he's...
To me, it says mid-tier number 2's everybody. And
so I would take, as a Giants fan,
you
I would take a mid-tier number 2. Because Adoree is a number 1, low-end number 1, a mid-tier number 2, and then I think Darnay can play the 3. And then Aaron Robinson's your 4 guy, your slot guy, your guy that can go out there and play whatever. And as a Giants fan, I'm looking at that team going, we overachieved this year.
Can we do it again?
Can we do it again? I think we can make the playoffs. Do I think we can win another playoff game? No, I don't think we can. As the roster stands right now, as March 30th stands, I don't think we're able to win a playoff game. Maybe the draft changes that. Maybe it does. Because last year we walked in with Isaiah Hodgins being our number 1. Shep was gone. Wandell was hurt. You know, well, Shep was hurt, but like Wandell was hurt too. And, like, we're walking in there with, like, 3rd or 4th rate receivers. We got Paris Campbell. We got hopefully a healthy Wandell. You know how I feel about Darius Slayton. I liked him, and then last year, he makes the hard catches look easy.
And the easy catches
but then
look hard.
Easy catches look hard as shit for him.
Hashtag shout out Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram, bro. Fuck Evan Ingram. You did the Giants dirty, bro. And then you go to Jacksonville.
Giants exactly how he should have.
You go to Jacksonville and you're nice? Like, nah, bro. Fuck that. But let's get on to the next topic.
I'm glad you had your Giants moment. Truly.
Yeah, I did. I had a solid Giants moment. That's 20 minutes of Giants moment.
It really was. But I'm gonna gloss over the next couple things. Marquise Goodwin to the Browns. Okay. Hashtag former Eagle legend who unfortunately never ended up playing the game because of the pandemic.
But he had a kid that died and like.
Oh, absolutely! I totally understand why.
Respect to Marquise Goodwin
100%
on that.
Respect to that.
I get you, bro.
No.
Having a kid, I truly understand. Yeah. Where you were at there, and I get you.
Bobby Wagner returns to Seattle, which I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming either. But
I thought he was gonna move.
I thought he was gonna be an Eagle. Truly.
Really? I thought he was gonna be an Eagle.
I thought Howie's gonna cook and
Howie's gonna cook.
But he ends up returning to Seattle. Calais Campbell to Atlanta, which to me
is the lateral ass move.
Like, these are big names, like making signings.
Calais Campbell.
He's going to a young team that needs a veteran presence, which he's going to be the.
He's going to help them.
He's going to.
What is he going to do after this year? He's going to retire.
That, or he's going to bounce to the next team.
And no, I don't see him bouncing to the next team.
For 1 year, if you want him to come in and him guide whoever you got to, how to play the game, how to sustain, how to win, it's a good signing.
No, he's a vet bear. It's a very good vet.
It's a move to me that says the guy doesn't care to win; he cares to,
coach up people.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I look at with Bobby Wagner too. But those were the main 2 signings, and I know we're kind of glossing over them. Big names, but obvious.
I don't think they're big impacts. Bobby Wagner, maybe. Calais Campbell, I don't see
Atlanta, it. I also don't see it. Yeah, they have Grady Jarrett, and I'm sure he'll probably really help in that aspect.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Grady Jarrett's a young kid. He does his thing. He's a dog.
But like,
And
I don't know
Campbell's gonna help
Atlanta
him.
like that because I don't watch their
that
games. I don't
offense-
watch their tape.
That offense is so bad that no matter how good the defense is, it can't help it.
Can't believe they got rid of Calvin Ridley. Which, and I did not plan this at all, but the segue, Calvin Ridley's Jacksonville immediately announced
He's number 0.
Number 0. Number 0 is going to be allowed as a jersey number. Which, first of all,
Shout out Paris Campbell.
Why the fuck Mika Parsons is going to go to 0 too?
No way.
Yeah.
That's bullshit though.
Why the fuck was that never allowed? It's so dumb. Like
I see it though.
The
The NFL, when they announced that the number 0 is going to be allowed to be worn, I was like, that's kind of weird.
To me, it should have always been allowed, just like how you could wear any number.
You wear 00 or 0 in the NBA. You wear whatever the fuck you feel like.
You know how they allowed players to wear any number, so cornerbacks would be number 2 and all that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't number 0 be?
Yeah, I get that.
It's just so dumb. It feels like such
As soon as they announced
all
that,
my zeros out there, I feel for you because that's fucked up.
Yeah.
0 should have always been allowed. And I'm kind of excited to see who's going to be the Eagle, which a lot of people are saying Christian Gonzalez. And now he's going to be number 0 because we're going to draft him.
I know. Paris Campbell already announced that he's number 0 for the Giants.
That's bold. You don't deserve it.
You got to go out there and ball, my boy.
Saquon Barkley said, "Nah, I'm number 0." Would you be like?
I'd be like, oh, I respect it.
Give it to him.
Yeah, give it to him. Let him have it.
But
I like the 26 on Sake.
Oh, I mean, obviously that's his number, but you know what
Sake, I call him Shake. He's called for me in my household, in my apartment with me and Mace. I call him Shaquan Barkley, cause he's shake.
He's fake
Move
Juan
it.
Barkley getting his knee injured.
Yeah, suck a dick, Sandy. Suck a dick.
But another thing, there's 2 Thursday night football games allowed for every team. They're allowing.
I don't mind.
Pretty much, basically bridging into flexing into Thursday night
I don't
games.
mind it.
I hate it. Thursday night games suck. Every player hates it.
For me,
that's all I gotta say.
For me, it's like Thursday and the Sunday isn't bad because you get the extra days of rest. Going Sunday into Thursday is really
Thursday night football is so fucking dumb.
It is fucking.
Fuck Amazon.
Yeah.
It's their fucking fault.
Amazon
fuck
Prime, bro.
YouTube. Fuck all of you because that's your fucking fault. Shout out YouTube. Don't.
It should only be football. Should be Sundays and Mondays. That's motherfucking it.
That's
stop playing that. I do like that they're letting them play a little bit of Thursday because you do get an extra rest going into a Sunday game after a Thursday game. But why are we even playing Thursday games? Let them get the week rest from Sunday to Sunday and do their thing. Why are we bullshitting around with that?
Dude, the players fucking hate Thursday nights, but
it's dumb, but
they're looking into that's going to be a thing where 2 games per team is allowed. Lane Johnson, he got this wild fucking extension, but it was more for cap purposes. He got a 1-year, $33 million extension.
You say for cap purposes. He got 1 year, 30.
But this cap hit is lower now for this year.
Is he taking most of it in a signing bonus?
It's for actually in 2026.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Because he's aging.
I don't know the logistics of it off the top of my head, but I know it lowers the cap hit for this year, which is why basically. So I'm pretty sure they're probably guaranteeing him a lot more up front than whatnot.
They're giving him a signing bonus.
That happened, and this is my little Eagles touch point. And Terrell Edmonds, I love the signing for the Eagles. He's not flashy. He's not C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Maybe probably equate him to Rodney McLeod for my Eagles fans out there. I think it's a good signing. Steelers fans seem to fucking hate him. I don't know why, but to me, 1 year was $2 million or something like that. So that's, to me, great signing.
A good signing, yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna be flashy. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think a lot of people fall super in love with him, and I just like him because he just seems like shout out Miller Lite, bro. Shout out Bud Light. Shout out Miller Lite. Shout out.
Every beer that wants to
Every
sponsor.
fucking beer. Besides Colt 45.
Yeah. I'm not popping
And Natty
40s.
Ice.
Yeah, Natty Ice. Fucking Natty Ice.
But Natty Light seltzers, bro, top tier.
Fire?
But a lot of Eagles fans love C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but they just look at the picks.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the picks were great and all, but you got to watch the games. They're two different players. You can't really compare the games. But Terrell Edmonds, to me, I always see Terrell Edmonds, and I absolutely love Terrell Edmonds. And to me, I personally think the signing is going to be great. And that's pretty much my point on that. In other news, the Chiefaholic dude is on the run.
He's on the run. He be running his shit. I respect the shit out of him. Because he be doing his thing. But just turn yourself in, bro. Like,
It's just fucking wild.
Take your heat. Bro, he got out on bond because he won the bet that the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl. Like, that was his bond money. Like, bro, just turn yourself in, bro. Do what you gotta do. Like, at the end of the day, you did what you did, bro.
Yeah.
Like, take that heat. Like, I'm sorry, and maybe it's a quite unpopular opinion among Chiefs fans, at least. But, like, bro, you did what you did, bro. You knew it was going to have repercussions at the end of the day.
It's just funny.
Take your heat.
Flat out funny.
Oh, no. Fucking funny. It's a funny thing to talk about. But, like, bro, why not just take your heat, do what you gotta do, man? I know you don't want to go to jail for 30 years, 25 years, and that's what you're looking at. But, like, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. And the last big topic for the week,
Lamar.
we're an hour in, so I want to touch on this. Lamar Jackson requesting a trade.
Why is every team not look? Even as a Giants fan, I'm like, Lamar Jackson, no. Like,
Meek Mill
why
texted
not?
Robert Kraft to be like, yo, like, bring Lamar in.
And what did the Patriots say right after that?
No.
Oh, no. Even as a Giants fan, we just signed Daniel Jones to a huge deal. I'm like, bring in Lamar. Try to trade Daniel Jones.
I just wonder if people are so scared about injuries because people, like, obviously a lot of people look at him as a runner, not a quarterback. And I personally believe Lamar Jackson can win you some games with an arm, but he's not going to be an elite quarterback with an arm if he were to blow his knees out and can't run anymore. Also, in Lamar Jackson news, the report about the fake agent, which is fucking hilarious, that the NFL had to literally issue a thing about saying, like, this guy ain't affiliated with Lamar Jackson, and he straight up was like, nah, no lie, like, this guy ain't representing me, he ain't doing shit for me. He's literally going out
talking bullshit,
predicting deals with Lamar Jackson. Like, how fucking stupid is this?
How you go on Lamar's name when you're not even affiliated? Like, just fucking stay in your motherfucking lane, bro. You're just some bullshit ass fan. Maybe you really like Lamar Jackson. You really like the Ravens.
They sent out a picture of what he looks like. He looks like every average Joe Smith you could think of, or every average John.
He has black hair.
Doe. Nah, I think he's like bald.
Oh, he bald? He a bald ass head?
I don't know, something like that. But
nah.
I thought that was funny to throw out there. Lamar Jackson, you keep doing you. People are clowning him because he don't have an agent, but nah, he's trying to get his money. Jim is right. The Colts owner. We don't like guaranteeing money to quarterbacks dumb or whatever he said. No. To me, like, then blame Deshaun Watson because that threw it all off, and now that's going to be the precedent for every quarterback. Lamar, he's trying to get his money. He knows. Good for him.
It's Deshaun Watson
and
Kyler Murray that really fucked up the quarterback market.
And Lamar,
my whole thing is like Lamar deserves that money.
Both of those quarterbacks.
And I saw a tweet.
Lamar has the accolades to back that up that he's better than both.
I saw a tweet that was like, "Oh, Josh Allen has made this much more than Lamar Jackson already." just after, and they were drafted the same year,
Lamar won an MVP.
and Lamar won an MVP. And you look back at it, Lamar's not going to make that money back. No. That money's gone.
Lamar was also, the 30th pick?
32nd pick.
Yeah.
And Lamar sees that and goes, well, he's made more money than me, but, like, has he really been better than me?
No, because the Bills have yet to go to a Super Bowl.
And the Bills are a solid-ass fucking roster. If Lamar had that roster,
but the Ravens
I think he takes
yet to do anything in the playoffs themselves.
I think if
they're on the same par. They should make the same amount of money to me, but...
I disagree. I think if Lamar has the Bills roster, I think Lamar takes them to a Super Bowl.
Maybe.
Truly. I think you have Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. I think Lamar takes that to a Super Bowl before Josh Allen does.
I hate to say this as an Eagles point, but I think, like, you see how the Eagles went and got to the Super Bowl, not won. And
the way they did it.
But the way they got to the Super Bowl, I mean, like, running quarterbacks really do have a purpose.
It's the game's whole dynamic.
But that's
like you can break
Josh Allen isn't
Josh Allen
dynamic,
sits back there and goes,
he's not as dynamic as
Lamar,
but he's athletic. He can run.
He can move. But, like, you add Lamar Jackson, I'm telling you, to that Bills offense, and I think that's a Super Bowl caliber team.
I think Pat Mahomes around that.
I think that's a tough AFC championship. Truly.
That Bills team skated by the Dolphins, and that Bills team got demolished by the Bengals. Let's not forget about Joe Burrow in this whole conversation.
Joe Burrow's dog shit.
Joe Burrow is not dog shit, and you're lying to yourself.
I will stand by that. I thought that when he won the national championship. Joe Burrow is not as much as people want to say he is.
That's denial because you like Daniel Jones.
That's denial. No. It has nothing to do with Daniel Jones. It has my hate for Joe Burrow. He's too fucking cocky. He's Joey Burr. He's Joey this. He's Joey that. Joey sucked my dick. That's what the fuck he is. I don't give a fuck about Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow is in the AFC a top 5 quarterback. Does he crack 3? No. Not even near.
I say he is.
What was my AFC quarterback rankings?
I know you didn't have him in the top 3. I could pull it up.
I know I didn't have him in the top 3. And that was intentional. I had him like 5.
I had him top 3.
You had him top 3?
You had him 5 or
I had him like 5 or so. I think he's a good quarterback. Like, I'll give him that. Like, he out-kicked my expectations.
He is a good quarterback. I don't think you'd be lying to yourself.
I think if Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow are better than him. Unquestionably. And I think he's the 4 or 5
spot.
You said
Joe Burrow is better than Joe Burrow.
No. It's Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson are better than him. All day. Joe Burrow is not as good as Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. I think those 3 are better than Joe Burrow. Unquestionably. Do I think Joe Burrow has a chance for that 4 spot? Yeah, I do. But there's a lot of quarterbacks in the AFC.
Joe Burrow is probably top 5 in the NFL.
No.
And that's
I hold him right outside the top 5 in the NFL.
I say top 5 in the NFL, and I'll give it to you right now. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson. Throw it out there.
You know what? I'll give you my top 5 right now. Pat Mahomes.
I'm sure I'm missing something.
Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts.
That's bold.
You want to hear bold? I'll say it right on the mic. I'll look right at the mic while I say it. Daniel Jones.
All right, get out of here. I think that's
Joe Burrow.
I think we got to end it.
You know what I'm saying? No. Daniel fucking Jones is winning the MVP this year.
This is bold.
If Daniel Jones doesn't win the MVP this year...
I need to clip this and put this on TikTok because some fucking people will be like, this guy's fucking out of his mind.
If Daniel Jones doesn't win the MVP this year, I'll twerk live on the podcast.
Daniel Jones doesn't win the MVP this year, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be like, yeah, we know.
No. Daniel Jones is going to throw for 50 touchdowns, 6 picks, win MVP, win a Super Bowl.
Thomas goes down and he gets sacked 40,000
If Andrew
times.
Thomas goes down, I will physically cry hysterically on the podcast. I will cry, will come to do the podcast, and I will cry again hysterically in my own hands.
Our viewers will be waiting patiently for that.
On some bullshit. Daniel Jones is better than Joe Burrow, and I will put everything I have.
Is Daniel Jones better than Jalen Hurts?
No. Jalen Hurts is 4.
Is Joe Burrow better than Jalen Hurts?
No. And as a Giants fan, I'll say Jalen Hurts, the step he made this year, puts
Joe
him
Burrow better than Dak Prescott? Oh my God! All right.
Yes.
That initial reaction.
Yes. Then I'll give you that. The initial reaction was.
The initial reaction was.
I will say Joe Burrow.
Think about
Joe Burrow's 100% better than Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott's the 3rd best quarterback in the NFC East.
I mean, that's a given.
It's Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones,
right
Dak Prescott. Like Dak Prescott, what did he do this year? He had a solid ass defense.
But he also
turned the ball over hella to make his defense have to be on the field.
They won a lot of games, but they could have
on the back of that defense.
Yeah.
It's not because Dak Prescott was so good. It's because that defense was so good.
I mean, he put up fantasy numbers because I had him in fantasy.
He puts yards and touchdowns up.
He put up fantasy numbers. I had him in fantasy, so I knew this from experience. But every game was 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Like that's how it was for the past 8 weeks of the year.
He was my quarterback in my most competitive fantasy football league. He was my quarterback. And what did I look at? I'm like, I should just drop him and pick up some Andy Dalton off waivers. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, I have a better chance of getting better stats out of Andy Dalton than I do out of Dak Prescott. Because Dak Prescott throws the ball to the other team. And what does that do? Subtract
Josh
points.
Sweat had a pick 6 on him. I know we lost that game, but that was the best moment of my life.
That's embarrassing.
Shout out Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat, dog.
Shout out Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Shout out AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Shout out Devontae Smith. Shout out Devontae Smith.
I'm not gonna shout out Devontae Smith. Because Devontae Smith should be a Giant, and the Eagles jumped us on some bullshit, and I am still mad to this.
This is what they
did.
This is exactly what
they gave the middle finger. I get it. The Giants should have took that pick and went, hey, Micah Parsons.
I know the fact.
Honestly, the fact that they didn't do that blows my mind to this day.
And it's like,
why you not take Micah Parsons and say, "Fuck you, Dallas. You want to let the Eagles jump us? Okay, fuck you right back."
Yeah, what'd you get?
We'll take Micah Parsons.
Kadarius Toney and
exactly.
Kayvon Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
So what would you take? I mean, honest to God, I would take Parsons over the both of them, but
at the end of the day, I would.
I just the fact that with Dallas,
it's a questionable thing because it's Kayvon Thibodeau is good.
It was a bizarre draft, man.
It was a crazy draft.
We traded back and then we traded up. It was the craziest thing. Shout out them. Shout out. I'm gonna hate myself tomorrow for saying this. Shout out Saquon Barkley. Shout out
Saquon Barkley.
Kayvon Thibodeau. Shout out. Who else?
Danny Dimes.
I refuse.
Shout out Danny Dimes.
Shout out
right now.
Brian Daboll.
Shout out Danny Dimes.
Shout out Brian Daboll.
Shout out Josh Shane.
Shout out Graham Gano, because that guy's a motherfucking asshole, and I fucking hate him, but he's a fucking dog.
He's a dog. He's a good kicker.
But I think that's pretty much this week recapped. It was a light week on terms of the stuff. We have some mock draft stuff we're going to talk about next week. We thought about getting into it this week, but we'll get into it next week. We're going to dedicate a podcast,
a whole podcast
just to draft.
To mock drafts.
We're going to have a couple mock drafts coming up. I'll give you this.
We'll look at the mock drafts that NFL.com put up, Bleacher Report put up. We'll do our own mocks.
I'm gonna tell you my custom draft. I'm just gonna throw it out there and just I'm gonna say it back to back.
Why put out the custom?
I'll do one this and then we'll go on the real ones because
Okay.
this is obviously mine and I kind of fucked it up with the Eagles picks. Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Jalen Carter, C.J. Stroud, Tyree Wilson, Devin
Jalen
Witherspoon.
Carter 3.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's a little
Will
crazy.
Levis, Will Anderson Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, Brian Branch to the Eagles. That's I picked that personally because I didn't want a quarterback after Chris or Darius Slay and James Bradbury coming back.
But in Jigba 6?
No, 9.
9. Okay.
Devin Witherspoon was 6, which I also think is fucking bizarre.
It's crazy.
Peter Skoronski, Christian Gonzalez, Parrish Johnson Jr., Quentin Johnson, Joey Porter Jr., Kalijah Cansey, Deontay Banks, Dalton Kincaid, Brian Barisi, Nolan Smith, Zay Flowers, Anton Harrison, Josh Downs, Lucas Van Ness. This is why I said you were going to like this when we were talking about this earlier. Jordan Addison. Michael Mayer, Bijan Robinson, Miles Murphy, Will McDonald IV, Broderick Jones, I picked that for the Eagles, and DeJuan Jones. That's the first
Top
round
11.
lock.
Top 11. The Eagles picked 10, right?
10 and 30.
And so you said top 11 right there.
Whole first round.
That was the whole first round?
I just read off the whole first round. I was rapid firing the whole first round.
Yeah.
Give the listener something to think about.
Okay.
This is my own custom draft. I did it on PFF. I picked positions of where I thought the Eagles would
What you had the Giants pick?
needs. The Giants were 25. That's their pick.
Yeah,
that was
that's
Jordan
okay.
Addison.
Jordan Addison. Okay. I respect it. That I if the Giants trade up, got Jordan Addison, I'd be like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and I did Brian Branch from Alabama.
I like Jordan Battle. I want Jordan Battle.
He's
for
the one that I
Giants.
saw around the second round pick.
Yeah, he's a second.
And-
I know he's a second round pick, and that's why I know his name and all that because I want him as a second
I want
round
Brian
Giants pick.
Branch, bro. I think
Rhett, we've talked about this plenty of times. I want Jordan Battle in the second round. I know you want Brian Branch as an Eagle at 25. Or
anyone from Alabama, just draft all Alabama. You
That's
can
what
probably
I'm
get
saying.
a good fucking draft.
Alabama safety in the top of the second round. What did that get us? They got Lana Collins,
Xavier
McKinney, and maybe Jordan Battle.
Could be.
I'm hoping that Jordan Battle is that pick right there where the Giants trade up, take them, and go. And let this shit rock.
We shall discuss more.
Absolutely.
We were going to get into the mock drafts, but we ran a little too long, so we're going to get
That's the next week.
We're going to get into mock drafts heavy next week. We're going to go light on the
We'll try to do our own first rounds next week. And we'll try to talk through what Reddy's first round is,
we'll
what
talk
my
about
first
what
round
I
is.
believe the first
and
round's going
what-
to be, what Ando's going to believe the first round, and kind of what's
The
out
consensus
there. You know,
is,
what
you know what I'm
other
saying?
people are saying.
Yeah.
Well, and that's pretty much going to be all next week. I think that'll be a great
be a
episode.
lot of drafts, yeah.
A lot of draft talk. We wanted to get into it this week, but you know, a lot of stuff happened. It wasn't as heavy as before, but allowing Ando to get some Giants talk in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that because
We needed to get that
the
in
Giants
there.
talk needed to be had.
But that's all I got for this week. Anything you got?
Same here. No,
All right, people, ladies and gentlemen.
Darren Wallace is a Giant.
Shout
remember
out
that.
Jalen Hurts. Kelly Green jersey's coming back. I will be the first in line to get that number
I'll be the
number
first in
one
line.
Kelly Green jersey.
I'll be the first in line to get if the Giants bring the red jerseys back. I'll be first in line to get a Darren Waller red jersey.
Not a Saquon?
No,
Not a Daniel Jones?
it's too murky. Daniel Jones is a little bit murky. Waller is my guy.
What about Xavier McKinney?
Maybe Xavier McKinney. Cause I like
Kayvon
Xavier
Thibodeau? Evan
Ooh,
Neal?
I like the 5. I like the 5. I'll be honest. I like the number
Sterling
5.
Shepard?
No. But Thibodeau, maybe Evan Neal, or maybe an Andrew Thomas. Cause I know they're gonna pay him next year. But That's a whole separate issue. We'll talk about that next week.
That shall be to be continued.
Facts.
Anyway, y'all, that's all I got.
Thank you very much for watching the YouTube video
and listening on Apple Podcasts.
Hey, if you guys have any questions for us, hit the YouTube comments. We'll answer.
Tweet at us.
Yeah, exactly. We'll answer any of your questions. Any questions you guys have.
We'll be throwing polls out on the Twitter, so
absolutely.
Please feel free to look at that and discuss.
Exactly. If you guys have any questions, we'll answer them live on the podcast. We'll do our thing. Thank you guys for listening. We genuinely appreciate it.
And this shall be continued next week. Mock drafts.
Mock drafts next week.
Hashtag NFL draft.
All
right, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.